Hello, everyone. Welcome to the first meeting of the Carbon Leadership Forum of Boston/Northeast Reuse Subcommittee. Thank you for all coming. Today, we have a presentation from Palats, a software company looking to promote a circular material inventory. Before we get into that, just wanted to say this is the first new meeting of 2024. In case you're watching this on recording, there is a sign up for all of the slates of meetings. I would say be careful on forwarding those because your registration info gets sent to the person who you forwarded to. The presenters today signed on as me because I didn't realize that. We'd love for you to forward it, but just, make it a note. The only other topic I want to bring up is, as always, because this is recorded, you'll see in the coming days, we'll send out the YouTube link along with some meeting minutes, and then any resources shared today, including the presentation and some different links. But with that said, Henrik, if you want to kind of share screen, we'll go right into the presentation from Palats.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having us and for being here, and an extra big thank to you, Michael, for inviting us as well. So let me share the screen. Great. You should see the screen now, otherwise let me know. But yeah, as I said, a big thanks to all of you for being here tonight. My name is Henrik. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Palats, and we're developing a digital platform where we use AI and digitalization to make reuse as compelling as buying new when large companies, for example, relocate an office or renovate a building. So I've been working on with this company for about 3 years, and during the summer before we started this, I bought my first house where I was doing some renovation, and at the same time I worked at a construction site. So I was also in charge of ordering the materials for all the employees there. And I got told to buy 10% extra materials on all the measurements that I had, just to avoid people standing still due to lack of materials. This also meant that we had a lot of materials left over, and all of this material was thrown away, even though that it was brand new sometimes. So during the days, I was throwing away completely new materials, and during the evenings, I was going to the store buying the exact same products for my own house. So yeah, that felt really bad. And half a year later, we got the insight that this is actually how it's working in the entire industry. And we saw that this is something that we need to change, and we actually have the competencies to do that. So yeah, that's a bit about my background as well. And today I'm going to walk you through the background of Palats really quick, and then we're going to jump into the product and show you how you work in that project, like for example, a relocation or a renovation. And then we're going to jump into the ongoing management and show you how you can work with an internal marketplace for materials as well. And if you have any questions along the way, just interrupt me or save them for later. It doesn't matter to me. Great. So Palats is a reuse management software. And what we mean by that is that it's a tool that streamlines the process of taking inventory, managing and reusing all the products that you already own and have internally. So the goal for us is to make it just as easy to reuse those products as it is to throw them away and buy completely new things today. So that's what we're working towards in everything we do. And I am sure, or first let me introduce myself as well. But yeah, as I told you before, I'm the CEO and co-founder of Palats. Been doing this for about 3 years. I was last year named one of the 33 sustainability talents under 33 years old in Sweden as well, which was a real pleasure. So that was fun. I have a background within civil engineering, but also entrepreneurship and business design from Chalmers School of University in Gothenburg. And I'm also a big sports fan and played hockey my entire life before starting Palats. So yeah, that's a bit about me. Let's jump into the real presentation and what we do at Palats. So this is some of the clients that we're working with today. So we're working with both some of the biggest companies in the world doing projects, but also some of the largest companies owning materials, working with Palats in the ongoing management of either an office or a property. We're also named the Facility Management Innovation of the Year 2022 by IFMA, which was really fun as well. So it's really, really cool to see these clients actually trying to change their ways of doing things as well. So we're glad to have the honor to work with these actors that are really big on a global scale as well. So I'm sure that a lot of you can agree with the fact that we are all, especially now since it's a downturn, looking for ways to save money. And if we can do it in an environmental friendly way, that's an extra big plus. We all agree that reuse is one way to save both money and the environment, but we have a very bad clue of what we actually own that could be reused internally. And gathering that information is a very time-consuming process, but we're still trying to do it, which is great. And I'm sure a lot of you can agree or have tried to, for example, do a reuse project in Excel or in a software that is made for a linear flow. The problem when doing this is that they're not optimized for the circular future, meaning that it takes a lot of time to do the project, which makes it cost inefficient, and therefore reuse has gotten quite a bad reputation, and we're here to try to change that. So with Palats, I'm going to start by presenting how it's used in a project. Then we're going to jump into the actual application and I'm going to show you how it works. And then we're going to jump over to the management to show you how it works after the project is done as well. But to give you an overview of what a project when you work with reuse typically includes, you begin by inventory the existing materials and furnitures in order to get a digital overview of what you have that can be reused. When you're done with that process, you share this information to stakeholders. And these stakeholders can be, for example, an architect who helps you draw the new location, the new office, or the new building. But it can also be an actor who helps you sell the leftover materials. And when you've done this, you need to plan what's going to happen with each product. So we know that the architect drew in a few of the products, but the rest of them we need to display to the reseller so they know which products to pick out. So then we plan how to, which product is going where, and then we share that information with the relevant actor. And the last step is that we actually want to see what we achieve. So how much money do we save and what do we do for the environment? So these are the parts that I'm going to show you in the application soon. And Palats is used by a lot of different actors, but when it comes to projects, these are some of the typical actors that use it. So there's a lot of architects and interior architects that use it, but also relocation manager and tenant representatives in order for them to be able to display the statistics to their clients in the end. And the real reason behind people actually using Palats is that before they did this in Excel, and it's really messy when you're doing a lot of projects in a lot of different Excels and you try to collaborate with people. So what we're trying to do is that we're trying to gather this information into one collaborative area where all of the actors involved can work together to actually, make reuse cost efficient as well. So now it's time to jump into the application and show you how this actually works. So I'm going to start by sharing my web application through my computer. Then we're going to jump into the mobile phone and show you how the inventory, the mapping of products is actually performed. And then we're going to jump back and show you how you plan the next step for products and how you analyze the project as well. Cool. You guys should see my computer screen now, let me know otherwise. But what we do is that we begin by going to our website, logging in here. And now I'm logged into a demo environment, and we begin by going to our projects in the left menu. And here we have one project where we're gonna relocate the headquarters. So I'm gonna jump into that. And we see that we have two locations, one location which is our current and one which is the future. And we also have a reuse hub where we store leftover materials from our entire organization. So let's say that we want to inventory a product at our current location, and then we want to move them. Then I'm going to jump into this location to show you how it looks through the computer, and then we're going to jump into the mobile phone and inventory the products. So this is how it looks. I've prepared everything. I've added floor plans here, and I've added divisions. So you can see both where the products are located on the floor plan afterwards, but also see a list of which rooms contain what products as well. But let's share my mobile screen. Now you should see my phone. Let me know otherwise. So here you see
still seeing your computer screen right now.
You're seeing my computer screen. Okay. Let's see how we change that. I can't see my pointer. That's really interesting. Now I see. Great. Share screen. Okay, I'm trying one more time. Are you still only seeing my computer screen?
I believe we're seeing your mobile device now.
Okay, perfect. Great. So this was the same building that we saw in the computer, but now we're on my mobile phone instead. So let's begin by pressing HQ High Street 204. And then we see the division here. So let's say that we're on floor 1 taking inventory. Then we begin by pressing floor 1. And we see all the products that we have from before on floor 1 here. To add a new one, I press the blue plus button in the bottom right corner. And then we begin by pinpointing the product on the floor plan. So I start by zooming in here. I add my product there. And you can also see that we've connected this area to the co-working space. So this will be pinpointed in the co-working space as well. So it's easy to find afterwards. The next step is that we add a photo. And then you can also add a QR code. And the QR codes are rolls like this with stickers that we send out. So each sticker is unique. So you add one of them underneath the share. And this makes you or enables you to update the information without gathering everything every time you're out stock taking. So if you, for example, have a stain on the share, you can scan the QR code and update the condition, or if you move it. So let's add the QR code. And then we scan the QR code. Oh, that's already in use. Great. Now you saw how that works that well as well. So let's scan another one. And then we put it underneath the share. And then we select the category. And here we have an AI that looks at the image and sees what or search for the category first. So it says that this is a desk chair. And then it looks if we have similar desk chairs from before. So here you can see that we've inventoried this exact product previously. So then we can just select that one. And we get all the information about it immediately. So you can see the width, depth, and everything here. And if you're missing some info, you can just add it afterwards as well. And this is pre-specified based on the category that you select. So if you, for example, select a table instead of a chair, you don't want to know the seat height and seat depth, for example. Then you want to know if it is adjustable height, for example. We also have the average weight and the average purchasing price. And that's in order for you to be able to see the environmental saving, both in reduced waste, but also in CO2 equivalents, but also to see how much money you save by reusing this instead of buying a new one. And lastly, we have the manufacturing year and the condition. So if we have a stain on this chair, we can press remark and say that it has a stain. Otherwise, we just press approve. And the logistics is if it's, for example, mounted to the wall and you need a screwdriver to take it with you if it's a bookcase, for example, then that's good to know for the relocation staff. Otherwise, we press approve. And then we say how many we have. So let's say that we have 4 in this case. Then we press complete and save. And we get to choose which information we want to bring from our original copy. So let's say that all of them have the same condition. The condition is good on all of them. Then we select the condition box, but we want to pinpoint them where they're located on the floor plan. Then we press review article. And we see that our second, third, and fourth products are missing both location and QR code. So then we want to add that, and we press edit copies. And we begin by pinpointing the products. And then I add the QR codes. So we add the first one, put it underneath the first, the second one, and the third one. And if we have a stain on the last one, we can jump into condition and we can press visual condition one time. And we can say that this has a stain. And here we can add extra photos as well if we want to. I don't have a stain now, but you understand the concept. Yeah, so this represents the stain on a chair. And if we're happy there, we press finish editing in the top right corner. And we see that we have location, we have QR code, and the condition is good on 3 out of 4. The last one had a stain. So if we're happy, we press approve and save in the bottom. And you can see that we have our 4 chairs here. So that's the entire process of inventorying or mapping products. Any questions so far or clear?
We'll hold all questions until the Q&A.
Yeah, perfect. So now I want to jump back to the computer and plan what's going to happen to the products I've mapped. So then I jump back to my project. I jump to HQ relocation. And I press relocate articles here. So then you get a description of how you do it, and you open the table view to begin working here. So here you begin by selecting the new location. So I'm gonna press here, and I'm gonna say that we wanna move it to this location instead. And I can add the exact spot on the floor plan as well. So let's say that we wanna move it to that location. And we confirm. And we see that we have the new location here as well. And if you want to move several at the same time, we can mark all of these, for example, and we can take action and edit multiple and select the future location of them. And then we just place them in the room. So let's say that all of these are going into this meeting room, for example, here. And we confirm. And you see that the future location is updated there. So then you walk through all the products. The products that you're not relocating to a new location, you can leave blank. And then we have something called next step as well. So I'm going to drag that up so that's next to future location. So here we can say that we had one chair where the condition or it had a stain, for example. So we want to refurbish that first. Then we add a next step and we say refurbish like that. So then you're able to filter out all the products that you're going to refurbish, export them into an Excel and give that to a refurbishment company as well. I'm not going to do that since I only have one product here, but I can actually add move to all of these products. So you see how that looks when you add next step, edit multiple, and then next step, and we say move. So let's say that all of these products are going to be moved, and then we want to give them the exact destination. So then we're saying that this is supposed to be moved to room 1, this is supposed to be moved to room 2, and so on. You understand the concept. So now we want to export this and give it to the relocation staff. So then we press next step, we filter on all the products we're supposed to move. And then we press export. And we download an Excel report with selected filters here. Yeah, that took a few seconds. Yeah, let's just wait for that one. I don't know what's happening here. Yeah, let's jump into the next step until this is finished. But when you have moved or relocated the products, you can also, oh, now it's ready. Perfect. Great. So this is what you get out. So now you get a list of all products you're supposed to move. You see how many you're supposed to bring of each product. And if we go down to the model that we inventoried last, we see that we have our shares here. And here you can just press the image if you want a clearer picture of it as well. And if you want to be able to see each individual to see where it's located now and where it's supposed to go, you can jump into the second page here named articles. And if we go all the way down before I zoom in for you guys, yeah, that was a lot of products. I've done a fast job today. Great. So here you see the last 3 products. You can also see exactly where they're located today. So you see that they're in our headquarters on floor 0 in the co-working space. So that makes it really easy to find them. And if we go all the way to the end instead, we can also see that these are supposed to be moved. And if we had a destination on them, we would have seen the destination here as well. But I didn't add a destination to this, sorry about this, but it would have, the position that we pinpointed on the floor plan would have been displayed exactly there if I would have added it. So that's how the communication to the next step, which usually is a quite manual step, the actual persons moving the chairs, for example. So they like Excel. And lastly, where we want to check that they actually perform the task that we gave them. So then we go back into logged in mode and we go to our table view again. And I bring the moved button up here. And here you can walk through with your computer and see that they're actually moved. And you can just select that they're moved here. But you can also do this with your phone. So you can go and actually scan the QR codes and check off that this is moved and it's in the right location. And then these boxes get ticked as well. And when you're done with all the boxes, and now I only selected a few boxes, but you understand the concept, we jump back to our project again. And we say that we want to move the products that we've checked off in Palats. So now they will be moved to their new location. So the new location will be their actual location now. So this allows us to see which products that are actually moved and which got lost in transit as well. So we see what products did they manage to move and what was lost during the way. So we can try to figure out where those products ended up as well. So that's how the actual planning works and the communication with other actors involved in the process. And the last step is that I'm going to show you how the statistics works as well. Since this location or this organization is new for today, I'm going to jump into another organization called Demo. And I'm going to go into Analyze. And this is how it looks when you've done a few products from before. So if I want to see where all my products that I inventoried in a project ended up, I go to Edit Selection. And we, for example, want to see all the products that we inventoried in Vasa 1 before the relocation. And let's say that the inventory was done, the 1st of September last year. And now we've done the actual relocation project as well. And we find articles and we go all the way down. So here we see where the products ended up. So 147 pieces got internally reused. We managed to keep 34 of them in Vasa 1. We sold 14 and so on. You understand the concept. And you can look at this from a CO2 perspective instead to see how much CO2 equivalents you saved. But you can also see how much money you save if you want to. So this makes it really easy to get an overview afterwards and present to your clients as well, or internally in a bigger organization, why you're actually supposed to work with reuse. So that was basically the entire relocation project. Hope you followed everything there. Now I'm going to jump back into the presentation and we're going to show you how you can manage the product in the ongoing facility management or office management afterwards as well. Yeah, I have a top bar. I'm not used to Zoom. Sorry, guys. Yeah, this is the right slide. Great. So let's jump into how you manage this in the ongoing management then, and not only in projects. So this process typically involves that you digitalize the materials they have in a storage, for example. And we recommend that you have a centralized reuse hub, and that's in order for people to easily locate the product, but also that it's easier to keep track of everything that you have. So it's not a individual responsibility put on everyone in the organization. You can have one person in charge of the entire work of adding the products in the storage. And we also recommend that you use a product that makes it look like a standardized storefront. So how can we come as close to buying a new product as possible, basically? And the last part is that we actually track what we save, both what financial savings we're doing, but also from a CO2 perspective. So then you can motivate that this is actually something that we're saving money on, even though we're renting a storage facility and one person is going there inventorying products once a week, for example. And this is typically used by real estate companies, companies like larger organization that has campuses, like for example, a manufacturing company or a university is two examples. And we also have a lot of municipalities using this product. So first I'm going to jump through a case of one of our clients and what they have managed to achieve. And then I'm going to walk you through how they're working exactly from start to finish. So Mimer is a Swedish real estate company. They're located in Västerås. If you have an idea of Sweden, Västerås is hard even though you're in Sweden. They have about 252 properties and 166 employees for reference. And what they've managed, or how they have put up their work, is that they do projects and facility management internally. So when products are left over, they drive them to a reuse hub. And when products are left in a reuse hub, they have taped up an area on the floor where you're supposed to leave the products. And then they have one person in charge of the reuse hub who goes there once or twice a week and takes inventory of the products that are left in the taped area. And that displays the products internally. So you can see what you have in the hub, both through the mobile phone, but also through the computer. So then you can go in and reserve the products and pick them up and reuse them in the next property. So this is the really big picture of what they're doing. And what they managed to achieve is quite cool. So we did a study with them 9 months in. And after 9 months, they had saved about 8.5 tons of CO2 equivalents. And they had products to an extra value of 9.5 tons CO2 equivalents already inventoried in their storage room, which is likely that they're going to be reused sometime soon in the future, because the average storage time is about 70 days. And the biggest savings they've made on doors and appliances and floorings. And if you instead look at it from a financial perspective, they saved about $74,000 during the first 9 months. And they have products to a value of $115,000 already inventoried that are likely to be reused within the coming 70 days as well then. And the biggest financial savings are made on appliances, but doors and things connected to doors are closely followed there as well. So let's show you how this actually works. So let's bring a few of the products that we had in our project to the reuse hub. And then I'm going to show you how it looks for all my coworkers afterwards, when they can look what we have and book the products and follow up the statistics. So I'm going to begin by jumping back into logged in mode. And I'm going to change to our previous location or organization, the project organization. Then we're going to jump into the project and we're going to jump into the headquarters. And then we're opening the table view. And let's say that we want to move these products to the reuse hub, for example. Then I'm selecting them. I press actions and I change location. So I basically move them to the reuse hub. And here you can divide the hub if you have different parts or so on. Yep, great. So now they're moved into the reuse hub, which makes them available for all my colleagues. So if one of my colleagues wants to look what we have internally when they're out doing a project, for example, and they want to make sure that we don't have the product I need internally before buying new ones, they go into manage reuse hubs and we press our reuse hub. And this part I only see because I'm the administrator. So here I can see who deposited the product. So my colleague Ellen did that. We can also see if someone has reserved it and who has reserved it. But if I only have the marketplace user role, I immediately get sent to this page. And this feels pretty familiar, I can imagine. It looks like a web shop. So this is where I can see what products we have in our storage. So if I, for example, want 2 lightings to my project, then I can press them. I see all the information gathered about the product here. And if I want to reserve 2, I press reserve. And then I get to select which ones I want to choose. Now we haven't added condition here, which is highly recommended to do. So then we would have seen if some product had a scratch or we need to change a light bulb or something. But let's say that we want to reserve the first 2 ones here. So now they're reserved, so none of my co-workers can pick them up. And when I pick them up, I just press my cart here and I press redraw. And I press OK. And they get marked as internally reused. And now we get statistics that we've reused 2 lightings here. So that is how it looks through the computer. But if you're out in the field, you might not have the computer. So then you would like to go in on to this page, but through your phone instead. So I'm going to share my phone again. Please let me know if it's not displaying now. And then I begin by jumping into the hub down here. And if I am a marketplace user, I would only have this option. So I would immediately come to this place. I can go into my reuse hub and I see all the available products. So if I would like to leave a new product, I press deposit and I add all the information as we did before. But if I want to redraw a product, for example, I want 2 of these shares, then I press the plus sign. And let's say that we want 2. And then we press finish. And once we're out in the storage actually picking the products up, we press redraw reserved articles. And then we confirm. So that's how you do it through your phone. That's basically the entire process surrounding what Mimer is doing and how they've accomplished both financial and environmental savings. And the good part here is if you're an administrator, I'm going to go in and show you how the statistics look afterwards as well. So then we begin by going to my Palats and we jump into our demo organization again to show you the statistics and then the analyze page. And here we see all the products that we've inventoried, but we can also go down here and we see how much we've saved each month. So if we look in January, we've been a bit lazy compared to December, but we've already sold 23 pieces and reused 23 internally. But we can also look from a CO2 perspective here as well, or from a financial perspective. So this is really good as a tool to be able to motivate that this is actually something that we should do internally if you're talking to managers, for example, who want to see the financial part of this as well. Great. So that was the ongoing management part. First, we showed how it looked in a relocation or renovation project. And this is how you work with storage for building materials or storage for furnitures. So let's jump back to the last part. Let's see if I... yeah, I could move that. Great. Cool. So yeah, that was everything I wanted to share with you guys today. So if you find this interesting and have a cluster of properties with a storage or do projects where you're, for example, helping clients relocate or renovate a building and also have some kind of carbon reduction goals on you. So It would be really great to talk to you. So you have my contact details here, and you can follow Palats on LinkedIn as well. So feel free to reach out, and thanks a lot for listening to me.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Henrik, for sharing that. We will open up the Q&A now, but I did want to ask one question to start it off. What is the kind of data sets that are being used? I see that a lot of the materials have a CO2 equivalent in those materials. Where is Palats pulling those from?
Yeah, so if we're looking at the furniture side, there's a site called EPD International, where they display a lot of furnitures, and then we summarize a lot of EPDs, environmental product declarations. It's basically a recipe for a product to see how much emission it emits during different parts of its life cycle. So we summarize as many of those as we can for a desk chair, and then we present a standardized value. The goal here is to connect, when we have the complete model library, can match the AI towards as like certified model library. We want to connect the exact correct EPD to the exact correct model as well. We're not there yet, so now it's standardized values. If we look at the construction side, we picked that from two databases. So it's Boverket, which is the Swedish government, and it's Psyke, which is the Finnish Environmental Institute. They have gathered a lot of data together, but they also have some complementary data. They're really good at elevators and so on in Finland, for example.
Is there any opportunity if a product has a known kind of carbon or EPD that might not be in there to input it yourself on the user end?
Not yet, but that's something we're working on.
Sure. While there are more questions, I would say if anyone wants to kind of raise their hand and ask a question verbally, feel free. If not, I can keep talking and asking.
Yeah. Yeah, I have one question in the chat. Are you able to export the floor plan with the location that were mapped visible on the plan? Or are you only able to explore the spreadsheet today? So the thing is that you can create, I can show you how that works. You can send a link to the application that anyone can go into and look at if you want to. Let me show you that real fast, because it's a good thing that I missed. Sorry about that. So if we jump into our project again, we can do like this, that we can jump into the location here, and we can press share. And then you can write who you want to share it to. I'm gonna leave it empty and then generate a link. And we can copy this link. And here you can filter only the products that are supposed to be moved. And you can do the same for the new location, only displaying the product that has a new location here. And then I send it by email, or however you prefer, to my, the one I collaborate with. And they can do the exact same things as you, display the exact same things. The only difference is that they can't edit anything. So if they go into floor 2 or floor 0 here, they can press floor plan, and you can send this link immediately if you want to. So then they will see exactly what products to bring from where. So here we're going to pick 4 of those. And here we have 1 of those. And here you can see that we have 8 of this share, for example. But if they click this, they won't have any editing possibilities. They will only be able to see the product. And if it would have had a destination, they would have seen the destination as well here. Hope that was an answer to the question. Let me know otherwise. Yeah, great.
Laurel.
Okay, I have a handful of questions. So I'm going to start with one, and I don't want to monopolize this. So I guess my first question is about how many people can access, like I saw you had 8 members or something on that account. Like how many people can access on an account? What's the pricing structure look like that? And who usually is the party that is kind of tagging and uploading and creating the inventory? Is it the owner, like someone on the owner side? Is it the designer? Is it a third party that's doing that? What does that typically look like?
Yeah. So you can have as many users as you want. We work with Gothenburg municipality as one example. They have several thousand users. The thing we limit is the amount of administrators you have. but you can have as many marketplace users as you want. So the people looking at available materials, we don't limit. The persons working in projects with administrations and so on, we have a limit on that. And that starts from 5 administrators, and you can add more if you want to. We also limit the amount of real estate or properties that you add. So that's the 2 scale factors that we have in our pricing model. The prices start from about $400 a month. Hope that was the answer to the first question. The second question, who typically does it? It depends. First answer, if it's a project, it's usually a relocation manager or an interior architect who does it before the project. If it's the ongoing management, we have some organizations who has an internal resource, like a facility manager who's in charge of adding the product. But we also have some larger real estate companies that outsource that service. So they bring in a logistics company, basically, who manage the inventory, the logistics, and the storage warehouse for them. Did I miss any question or?
Nope. Thank you.
A question I had. Oh, we go with Frank, actually.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I just have a quick question. Is there a way to use this for things like building materials? So here recently we've been challenged in Boston to reuse basic building materials like bricks. Is there any way to keep track or inventory using this system for that? Or maybe this wouldn't be useful for that. Thank you.
Yeah, about 1/3 of our clients is using Palats for that. It's just that it's easier to show with a share because I don't have a brick wall here. Yeah, so it works great. But good question. Yeah.
And then maybe a brief follow-up. Is there a way for other companies to see? So often the challenge will be deconstructing a building and the bricks may not be reused on that property. For others to see in and say, hey, this project has 43 metric tons of bricks. Is there a way for others to see that? Thank you.
Yeah, we don't have that open marketplace today because it's kind of a chicken and the egg problem. You need the volumes in order for it to be attractive to buyers. But there are no volumes and there are no buyers today. So what do? We learn, or we teach companies to work with this internally, reuse as much as possible. And when you have several actors who are doing this internally, we can connect those actors together. And then it becomes much more relevant for the projects and not only the management. And once enough actors has done that, where it's very likely that a private or limited liability company goes in and takes over that, since it's a good business. So yeah, not now, end goal, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Randy or Jim, you're using this.
Yeah, sorry about that. Yeah, great presentation. Just a quick question: can you export the data to and use that like cross-platform on like sales platforms if we're selling items? So if we're pulling items off of projects, can we sell them on can we use the information that we've already put in through your inventory system? Can we take that and then use that on, like, let's just use eBay as an example, just a rough example.
Great question. So we have an open marketplace and we have actors that work with reselling products. So they have like a web shop in Palats, and then it creates a link. So you can just add that link. You can add the photo and the link. So here you have all the information. So that's how it's done. It's not automatic, but it saves a lot of time. Yeah, hope that was the answer to the question as well. Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you.
Anyone else before I keep asking questions? A question that I had thought of is going along, I think what Frank had said, the push towards kind of deconstruction and building materials. There's a lot of kind of construction management platforms, which I think this would be very helpful to at least kind of understand or work through. Is there any integration possibilities? I know that you had just said for kind of selling its own marketplace, but any capabilities of kind of pulling materials off and then essentially using it as something like a submittal or a verification of inventory to go towards a new project?
Yeah. So we don't have APIs today. That would be the best solution for that. That's something that we're working on today. We're going to recreate our data structure in order to be able to communicate better with other systems. However, some of these larger systems, and there are systems that work with integrating different systems as well. So you can export CSVs from Palats with basically all the information you can get, and then you can upload that into some programs. But to be honest, not great with APIs and connecting with other systems yet. That's something that we're going to work with a lot during 2024.
Sure.
Yeah.
Laurel?
So you kind of already answered part of my question with the API comment. The other question I have is, it's awesome to see the QR codes that you provide. As we're kind of moving forward, and hopefully, manufacturers are starting to provide, like Frank mentioned, like a window manufacturer that had their own kind of labels. Will you be able to integrate with other product labels or RFID tags, or like a universal product ID that would be available for a product?
Yeah, that would be a dream. Because imagine if we didn't have to create the entire library, but they allowed us to pick data out of their QR codes. We're actually doing like a pilot in Sweden with one of the biggest resellers of furniture on that. But they're using our QR code as their QR code in order to start. So we want to do that. The industry is not there yet. That's why we use the AI and image recognition to be able to get all that information without even having a QR code. But when they have a QR code, we want to be able to integrate that, so you don't have to add like 3 different QR codes or RFIDs or whatever. Yeah. So when the industry is there, we really want to work with that as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm just thinking also, like, if you were able to, like, for furniture, for example, if you were able to also connect the Revit model or the 3D model for that product, and then folks who are looking at that product in the reuse hub and are able to kind of incorporate that into their designs, that would be amazing. But obviously that relies on the manufacturer having that kind of robust product data accessible to you.
Yeah. The thing is that these models are all usually available online already. So if we have the certified models, we can add it already there without even them adding the information into their, like, whatever they use, QR codes or RFIDs. So we can connect that to the model that we select from the photo as well. Yeah.
Randy, you still have a question? Your little hand is raised.
I think they forgot to lower their hand.
I'm not seeing a hand that I can put up, so I'll put this one up. So yeah, this is my first meeting. Thank you all for letting me come in. I'm with Hancock Academy, and I guess most of my questions have already been answered, but we'll be getting in things that are vintage, that you're not going to be able to scan with AI and it's going to pull up that picture. So I guess that would just all the info would have to be put in manually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If we don't have the product from before, or it's not available online in any reasonable format, it will be hard for us to gather that information before you go out. However, we've streamlined the process of adding it manually as well, so it will go fast for you.
And then somebody asked this question already, I believe, but if you, in our case, we're going to have 5, 6, 7 warehouses up and down the East Coast filled with God only knows what. And, for us to be able to take that and put that all online ourselves, what you're saying is, this software platform has that ability that this can be on theirs to let architects and whoever all across the country see this.
Yeah, but it's going to be your own web shop, basically. But if you like visualize it and share it in those channels, everyone can go into it if you have it open. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks.
One question I did have is obviously based in not the US. Are there any projects right now going on in the US or any kind of pilots that are using the Palette system?
Yeah, we're looking for our first pilots. We hopefully have one with a really big architect firm really soon. So that's going to be exciting. We actually went to San Francisco and Silicon Valley last spring and spoke to a lot of actors there, and have been keeping those relations up during the fall. So hopefully we're going to have a few pilots really soon.
Laurel?
So in terms of the reuse hub, I think I love that you can kind of reserve items. I'm wondering, because I think that especially if we're, you know, if you're a designer and you want to specify a product into your project, there's going to be a potentially significant amount of time between the time that you would come to claim that product. So is this kind of the purview of whoever's operating that reuse hub to set, like, what is the period that a product can be pending? Can people get added to a wait list? Like, if someone doesn't pick this up, then I want it. Can you control like how long a product will be pending in this kind of warehouse or reuse hub, or how does that work?
Yeah, so we're not setting any limits, but the companies or organizations are doing that themselves. The good thing is that if a product is reserved and has been reserved for a while, the next user that goes on to the platform can see that this product is reserved by this person and has been so for 100 days maybe. Talk to them basically, but we're not setting any limits, so it's up to the organizations themselves to have those rules. But really good question, because that's a thing that we're working a lot on tackling, because that's one of the biggest issues when it comes to reuse, that you need, especially building materials, you sometimes need to draw the products in several years ahead, and then it's extremely hard to store a door, for example, for 5 years. So we need to create, so you know that we're always going to have several hundred doors available in the future. And if people begin trusting that, they dare to draw in like standardized products into buildings and believe that they will actually be available in the future as well. Yeah. Answered your question and a bit more, but yeah, I hope you understood.
Anyone with any final questions? We got 2-3 minutes left.
I have a final question here. So I live down the street from Boston Building Resources Center, and I know some people in this call are involved in that. And I wonder if this system could be of use in somewhere there. And I'm just trying to think forward in terms of maybe projects that are under this deconstruction pressure could possibly mark their own materials and offer them through a marketplace like that, a kind of a hub. And I wonder if that could be a way we could kind of move this forward in Boston. So I'm not sure if that's a question or a statement, but I wonder if that could be possible.
Yeah, but that's a great idea. It would be really interesting to talk to the persons in charge of that project and see where they are now and what their goals are. Because it is possible to inventory products. It is possible to share it with whomever you want to. So if they have a big channel already, which they might have, if they just post it there, it's very likely that product will be reused from day one. Yeah. So it's a really good idea. Yeah,
I would say the biggest, I think, part of all this is having the individual marketplace. So I think right now, I'm on the board of Boston Building Resources, and there's a bit of a struggle to, and I think this has historically been the case, to move items from we know they're in inventory or we have them on a storefront to how do we really tell people that they're there? How do we guarantee condition and quantity and location? So having that, I think, individual storefront in the larger kind of network that is this Palats platform could be a really powerful tool to kind of enable that, especially if you could start connecting that with, say, a GC or designer can also use this system as I'm pulling them off, as like demos here, pulling them off, being able to kind of share that with Henrik Academy, Boston Building Resources, who then can have their own marketplace and then kind of further spread this and really reduce that barrier for reuse entry, I would say.
Yeah, for sure, because they already have a trusted brand. So then you know if this is the actor that is displaying these products, we believe that it's in the condition that they say, and they want to keep a good brand name as well.
Sure. I think with that, we can look to wrap up. I wanted to thank once again Palats for coming in and giving this amazing presentation. This is something that is very much needed and has been discussed over the past few years as a tech solution that really starts integrating all this. So thank you for coming today and sharing with the group. We definitely appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.